Yo, it's good. It's your man, 100 Grand Ross with The Rock Never Stops. Yo, these Detroit Pistons continue to improve, even though they keep dropping these games. I want to dive into that in this video. They matched up against the Orlando Magic, and they fell short. But they fell admirably short, and I'm not mad at that. But if you enjoyed the video, smash the like button for me, hit subscribe and the bell for notifications. Let me just start off by saying Jaden Ivey is getting better. Let me be honest about that. I'm not going to apologize for the stuff I said in the past. I think he's still dealing with it, but I think that he's added wrinkles to his game that I want to dive in on. And he may almost deserve a featured video all on his own because I have to give props in his progression and his improvements. But one of the wrinkles that he's added to his game is that he's taken a page from Marcus Sasser, that he attacks the gaps, not always trying to get all the way to the rim. And I think that this is a major difference because when you use your speed to attack gaps, it's more effective because when you get into the gap, you have space. And space that allows you to make a decision, a pass, a floater, kiss off the glass, maybe keeping your dribble alive and dribbling through to the other side and hitting the guy in the corner, right? You have a lot of options. But when your destination is always to the basket, it gives the defense that extra step, that extra dribble that you take to collapse on you. And that's where a lot of times Jaden Ivey found himself in trouble. And this is where I was saying he was having a hard time reading the defense because he wasn't realizing this was happening almost every time. And because he's trying to get all the way to the rim, he tends to really try to rev up, right? To get his dribble going, get in his rhythm, and get that strong speed burst to get all the way there. Well, now that he's just attacking the gap, trying to get to that 5 to 8 foot, 9 foot range, well, now he doesn't need a huge speed burst because he can get there in a quick first step and use his quickness more so than his speed. And those are two different variations of athleticism. Quickness, right, and speed, right? Quickness almost never leaves you as an NBA player, right? Usually it's at the tail end of your career. But speed tends to lose you or leave you just right after your prime, because this is where you utilize a maximum of your athleticism. And so being able to operate in the different speeds, right? This is where we hear change of speed from, right? This is a strong feature for effective players who are athletic. When you can change your speeds, you keep the defense off balance and they can't time you. And before in the past, the defense was timing the hell out of Jaden Ivey. I mean, just always meeting him at the rim and putting him in a terrible position, making passes in the air, getting caught with his dribble, collapsing defenders, reaching in, knocking it off his leg, all these different things, right? All that's to say is the brother has figured out this wrinkle, and it looks lovely. That floater has been working for him, and it's the difference between him going 7 of 12 and 4 of 5 for 12, right? It's the difference between hitting that first floater, getting your rhythm going, and now you hit the open three versus turning it over at the rim and then not even taking a three-point shot or missing that first three-point shot, right? And that's what it really means to become a professional in this league, to really acclimate to the speed of the game, is to understand how you're going to find your points consistently at an efficient, high level. And this is something that he's figuring out. He was probably the best player on the court for the Detroit Pistons in this game, which is saying a lot with Cade Cunningham next to him. He did an excellent job of setting up his teammates as far as Jaden Ivey is concerned. And he just looked really confident. He looked like with this new wrinkle, he was able to slow down a bit more and really pick and choose his spots. And so that was definitely something really nice to see. That really made me appreciate how he's working on his game. And let me just make sure I shout out Monty Williams. These guys are getting better, and this is what you want from a first-year coach. You're not expecting playoffs for a team that was at the bottom of the league the previous year. You're not expecting play-in. You're expecting progress, right? Not playoffs, not play-in, but progress. And this is what we're seeing. Cade Cunningham, I think he needs to learn how to play off of Ivy a little bit better. I actually want to see him in more of that Bojan Bogdanovic role next to Ivy. If Ivy is attacking and you're spreading out, spacing out, either you're cutting off the ball to give him an extra pass, cutting into the paint or diving into the paint, a la Asar Thompson, or you're spacing out the floor and you're getting your shot off like Bojan Bogdanovic. But let's also be clear, Bojan is a trained assassin. Similar to Danilo Gallinari, each of them has a high release point on their jump shot, which gives them a whole extra second to get that shot off. And so even if a guy is closing out hard, it's hard for them to contest that shot because they know with the high release, if you're not within a certain range, you don't have a chance. With Cade Cunningham, who shoots more from his chest or his shoulder, he does get that shot contested more. But there's times where I think he could still get it off because Stephen Curry still shoots from his chest and from his shoulders. He just has a quick release. And I think that if Cade works on a quicker release, he can still be able to get the ball off similar to a Stephen Curry. Now, that's probably for another video as well. But I want to talk about more of what I saw in this game. The Orlando Magic, they were who the Orlando Magic has been. When Franz Wagner and, what's my boy name? Paolo Banchero. When those two are on the court together, this team is just tough as hell. 2 6'10" forwards who can put it on the deck, who can space the floor, shoot it off the catch, off the move, get to the rim at will. They're a constant mismatch. They're either too big or they're too quick, too agile. And we have two guys with that type of size, that type of passing, that type of skill, ball handling, and basketball IQ. It's just, man, it's bonkers for you as a defense. It's like, what do you do? Pick your poison. But I will say that I did like the job that Kevin Knox was doing defensively. I love the job that Asar Thompson was doing defensively. And I still think that Asar Thompson needs to be in the starting lineup because he gives them a wrinkle that Knox simply doesn't. When they run the court in transition, Knox is trying to space out to the three-point line. When Asar runs in transition, he's trying to dunk on somebody and catch a lob. And I think that difference is huge. Also, Asar Thompson is a far better playmaker in transition. And that's something that also can really help. Whereas Kevin Knox, he can bring it up admirably, but he's got to pass that thing off to get offense started. And so it's almost like a dud of a fast break if he has the ball. That and also Kevin Knox has been struggling starting off. But I guess you're trying to figure things out. That's what the season is for. Right? A couple other things. I appreciated seeing James Wiseman get some burn. I think he needs to be playing instead of Mike Muscala. This is something I've said before. You either got to pick Danilo Gallinari or Mike Muscala. You're not developing both of those. You can't give heavy minutes to both of those guys. These are not regular rotation guys. Danilo Gallinari more than probably Mike Muscala is. And it's to say that playing them together is not a bad thing if that's all you got. But if you have a guy like James Wiseman and you have the opportunity to play a young, talented big man with that type of ability and that type of talent and skill, play the boy. Play him. Why? Because this is about progress. You're not trying to get progress with Mike Muscala. You're not even trying to get progress with Danilo Gallinari. You know who they are at this point. They are not a part of your future. They're a part of your present to support the guys developing for your future. And finding out what you got in James Wiseman is huge because, like I said before, Wiseman and Duren give that pick and roll threat to the guards that has gravity that allows for them to be able to play at the rim more. Having Duren on the court with Cade and Ivy allows them to get into that in-between game to either throw a lob or to be able to score at the rim or with a floater, keeping that defender big man kind of hamstrung, where once you beat your man and you have him on your back, that opposing big man can't leave Duren. They can't leave Wiseman because they're too big and they're just going to get an easy lob or an easy layup, an easy dump off. Not having them, however, with Mike Muscala, well, you're kind of banking on Mike Muscala coming in hot and hitting a bunch of threes. And if he's not, well, he's not giving you rim protection. He gives you okay rebounding, but he's not really making a difference. He's not moving the needle, and which is why he's been a journeyman, bench, reserve big man throughout his career because that's where he's best utilized for a winning team. And so I think James Wiseman needs to get those minutes. I don't mind Danilo Gallinari off the bench, plays that Bojan Bogdanovic role, but I think I want to see more Wiseman next to Gallinari. I think his shooting with Marcus Sasser and Alec Burks is going to bode well. And I say put him in a whole bunch of pick and rolls and early post-ups in transition. With that said, Marcus Sasser, he had kind of an up and down start finish, right? In the first half, he hit a few threes, hit a couple threes, looked really confident with his shooting, but then got kind of caught in no man's land in the wrong spot on offense a few times and had a few turnovers. But some of this is also attributed to the Orlando Magic's really high-level defense. This is one of the better defending teams in the league when they have Franz Wagner, Paolo Banchero, Wendell Carter Jr., or Goga Bitadze, and then Jalen Suggs. This team defends at as high a level as any team in the NBA. And they're absolutely scary, and so they're going to cause turnovers. And so if you're still figuring things out, it's going to be really tough for you. That size on the court at 6'10", 6'10", 6'10", with 7 foot, 7+ wingspans out there. And they're also high IQ defenders who give great effort in terms of Wagner, Suggs, Carter Jr., and then Paolo Banchero. They're going to turn you over. And Marcus Sasser struggled with the turnovers early. But then you saw the second half, it almost flipped. He wasn't necessarily scoring a lot, but he was finding ways to get guys involved. And this leads me to my next point. I think he needs to get Monty Morris's minutes. Look, Monty Morris is great, but he's best when he's really, really, really in that tip-top shape. And he's not. You can just tell by his body and how he's moving out there. He's not in the best of shape, and so he's not necessarily contributing at as high a level that justifies not giving those minutes to Marcus Sasser. Because Marcus Sasser, once again, looks like he could be a part of your future. And that's what this season is about. Progress, not playing, not playoffs. And so when we look at those wrinkles, I think that's what I want to see from this team. I like Alec Burks still. I want to see him defer a little bit more to Marcus Sasser. Play off of guys a little bit more. He doesn't need to be that shot creator as much anymore because he's a good shot creator. He's not a good facilitator or even playmaker. He's a shot creator and shot maker, but not necessarily a facilitator, playmaker for other guys. And so I want to see the ball distributed more to the young guys now that they're figuring things out. Marcus Sasser's figuring things out. His offensive game, it's becoming fine-tuned with the added shooting of Danilo Gallinari out there and Bojan Bogdanovic. They have that much more shooting that spaces out the floor. And I think that this team is ready to take that next jump and really start to invest heavily into these young guys who now have the spacing and support that they need to really be successful. But all in all, I'm not disappointed at this loss. Remember, the Orlando Magic were a top, 3 seed in the East before Franz Wagner went down with that ankle injury. Now they're down towards, I don't think they're in the play-in, but they're like 8-9, 7, 8, 9 seed. But that's not really who they are. When they're healthy, they're a top 3 seed. And so you lost this game to a really good team that's getting healthy. They had Fultz back. They had Wendell Carter Jr. full throttle, ready to go in the starting lineup. This was going to be a hard night out, playing at home or not. And so they played admirably. They came up short, but we see the progress. We see the progress. And let's keep at it. Let's make sure Cade stays connected. And I love seeing what Ivy is doing as well. As always, I want to know what you all think. Holler at me in the comments section. Like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. And I'm out, y'all. Peace.